Hello there, welcome back to Language Professora. In this video, we're going to be looking at the oxymoron. Still another literary device. What is oxymoron? The simplest way of putting it would be to say something along the lines of opposites colliding, right? So it's when you have two opposite terms or contradictory terms that you use together to project a desired effect. And the words usually have opposite meanings or sometimes seem to have opposite meanings. The thing about it is, oxymorons have become such a part of our vocabulary. We hear them and we just roll with it. We don't even stop to think about the fact that, but this is actually two opposing terms being used together. Now, how do we use them in a sentence? First of all, we have to recognize that we have two contradictory terms that we're trying to put together. And it's not everything that you will combine that would become an oxymoron. You have to think about the meaning that you're trying to bring across. All right? So does it make sense in the context in which I am using these opposing terms? Does it make sense? And if it makes sense and it lends to the meaning of what you're trying to say, then it could be considered to be an oxymoron. But just to point out again, not every opposite term put together becomes an oxymoron. It has to function and make sense in the context in which you're using it. We have some examples in literature. Parting is such sweet sorrow. How can sorrow be sweet? How can something that is sweet be said to be sorrowful? So we have our oxymoron right there. Why then, O brawling love, O loving hate? Love and hate, two opposite terms, but they've come together in the form of this literary extract. O anything of nothing. Anything on one hand, nothing on the other hand. They're coming together to create a particular feeling, a particular mood. Oh, heavy lightness. How can lightness be heavy and how can heavy be light? You get what I'm saying? So you have your oxymorons coming there, and then serious serious vanity is not one, so scrap that one. But oh, heavy lightness is the oxymoron there. And this one had me cracking up. Feather of lead. Now you know feather is something light. Lead is something heavy. So how can feather and lead be put together? But it's creating a particular literary impression. Bright smoke. Smoke tends to be kind of gray. You can't see through smoke. Smoke is not very bright. Smoke is kind of dull, right? But cold fire. Fire is not cold. Sick health. You get what I'm saying? You see how the oxymorons are being played with? But this is from literature. What about in everyday use? Because it's not every day we pick up a Shakespeare play and we see these oxymorons come to life. But we still use them every day. Let's take a look. I feel these patterns are pretty ugly and not up to the mark. I just let that roll off my tongue because that's something that we say. Pretty ugly. But it's an oxymoron. Sam likes reading works of true fiction. Now, fiction is made up. Truth is not. So true fiction, oxymoron. This is another one that we tend to see quite a lot of. They ask us to submit the original copy. If it's original, there is no copy. So how can you have an original copy of something? You get what I'm saying? Chester demanded that he wanted the whole piece of cake. Is it a whole cake or a piece of a cake? But put together, you get the picture of what's coming across here. Technological advancement in the educational department is completely based on virtual reality. This is a term that we see being played with quite often, especially in AI circles nowadays. Virtual reality. Oxymoron at play. A few more. There was only a small crowd. It's something that we use. It's a small crowd. A crowd is not typically small in front of the grocery store. David moving to France is an open secret. Secrets are kept quiet, not something done out in the open. My work desk is an organized mess. That's something I tend to say. I can find what I need to find. But an organized mess is an oxymoron. Taking up this job offer was my only choice. A choice has several options. There's not simply one choice. So that's an oxymoron right there. And again, this is something that we say on a daily basis. Only choice. Everyone was amazed at her foolish wisdom. Oxymoron right there, because are you foolish or are you wise? Which of the two are you? So foolish wisdom is one of our oxymorons. Now that we've looked at quite a few, do some on your own. So I'm going to go through these sentences and you're going to find the oxymorons within them. It is always a love-hate relationship between us. Our oxymoron is love-hate. I can never manage such a deafening silence. Did you guess deafening silence? You would be correct. The company faced a minor crisis in the last year, which affected the company to a great extent. Did you guess minor crisis? A crisis is something major, not minor, but there you have your oxymoron. Their restlessness was projected like a silent scream for help. Silent scream is our oxymoron. I have zero tolerance for dishonesty. Oxymoron, zero tolerance. My mom asked my brother to stop behaving like a big baby. Big baby is our oxymoron. Trigonometry is my least favorite topic in math. Least favorite is our oxymoron. There was a definite possibility for us to be late due to the traffic. Oxymoron, definite possibility. We use plastic glasses so we can dispose of them after use. Plastic glasses is definitely your oxymoron. Final one. Maria was on a heavy diet owing to her wedding. Heavy diet is our oxymoron. In a nutshell, that's your oxymoron. Two opposite terms being brought together to create a particular effect in terms of the literature that we're experiencing, in terms of even our very own language that we use. But some of these terms have become so much a part of our vocabulary that we fail to remember their humble origins as oxymorons. Happy reading!